Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kador. Welcome to another record collection video. I haven't done one of these in quite a few months. Just been busy at college, I guess, but I've gotten a lot of stuff since then, so I'll just go ahead and show them all off now. I haven't gotten any new tapes, just mostly a bunch of records and a couple CD sort of things, so I'll show off those right now. The first thing is Hecker with Sun Pandemonium. Not to be confused with Tim Hecker, which is actually the reason I have this to begin with, is because my parents found this in a record store and they knew I was a big fan of Tim Hecker, and so they're like, "Oh, that must be him, right?" No, this is Florian Hecker, but he just goes by Hecker. And I actually have listened. I had listened to this a couple years ago, I think, and I wasn't a huge fan, to be honest, when I first listened, but I also didn't. I was kind of doing other things at the time, so it wasn't probably the best listen to judge that sort of thing. But anyway, Hecker basically does like glitch, noise, electronic, very abstract, difficult, kind of like academic sort of sound experimentation. So what this record is just a bunch of totally abstract, harsh, atonal, electronic, glitchy noises just kind of thrown at you. Um, some tracks are more sparse than others, but others are just like full on attacks, just walls of abrasive computer chaos, basically. And it says credits on the back. It's just a computer. It was used to make all of this. There's no instruments or anything. Probably no organic sounds. It's all just synthesis. The track titles are very nonsensical. Yeah, it's all just very alien and very mechanical and futuristic. I actually do like it a lot more, though. I just listened to it today for the second time after a long time, and I like it a lot more than I originally did. I don't know. It's really cool sound design. I mean, there's a lot of crazy electronic sounds on here, and it manages to be very harsh and overwhelming, but also like very interesting to listen to at the same time, which is kind of a hard balance to strike sometimes with like noise music and that sort of thing. So anyway, folds open like that. Disc is pretty plain. It comes with this very pointless booklet. So it's just all these pages and they're just completely blank. Like, I don't. Very nihilistic. But maybe there's some kind of concept behind that I'm not getting. But anyway. Yeah, this is good. If you're a fan of, abstract electronic noise type of music, then definitely check this out. There's some really cool sounds on here. And yeah, I dig what he's doing. So then next, for more kind of academic sound art sort of stuff, but something I like a lot more, and I do like that one, but this is, alright, so this is Nature Denatured and Found Again by Michael Passaro. And as you can see, this is a whole box. This is going to take a while to show off. This is probably going to be a really long video, but it's fine. This is currently my album of the year, of this year. This came out this year. First of all, love the album cover. It's really cool. I don't know, just the forest imagery juxtaposed with these like blank kind of color palettes, I think is really cool. But yeah, so you can see the sides. There's so much going on with this album, just like conceptually. I can't just summarize it all in a video, and that's why it requires this entire box to even like explain what's going on in this album. Like this entire booklet is basically talking about the concept behind the album, and each individual track has just like its own story practically. And I literally can't summarize it, but basically it's a lot of field recordings, a lot of recordings of nature, juxtaposed with, or like mixed in with some subtle instrumentation, drones, electronics, that sort of thing, just sort of subtly worked into these field recordings. And yeah, they're just these compositions built out of this, but like the way they went about making them is just like totally conceptual, and like just this whole methodology they used is really fascinating. You can't really get the full experience unless you like read a little bit into it and just like see what they're actually doing on this album and like their concept to make everything. And I say they because like Michael Passaro is like the composer, but there's a lot of other musicians that he worked with to kind of fully realize this project. And this started in 2011, so this is like an 8-year album basically that in the making. So then the rest of this is just these different, let me take them all out, the different CDs. This is a 5 CD box set, 5 CDs. It's a very long album. Every track is 12 minutes long with 12 seconds of silence at the end. Like everything's just super meticulously laid out and like really just like precise in that sense, if that makes sense. So each CD has its own little kind of like envelope that it's housed in. I'll just open one to kind of give you the idea. So you just take it out of this plastic thing, and then it's basically just this little book like fold over kind of thing with the CD just inside in this little case. So you have a little extra score there and like credits and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much going on with this album conceptually. I mean, I already said that, but I don't know how to really summarize it all here. It's very dense. But it's just a really cool album. It's just so evocative, so beautiful, in such an abstract and unconventional way. I've really never heard just like this kind of music before. I mean, I don't know, like I've heard, this kind of like experimental modern classical kind of stuff, but the way it's just mixed in with field recordings and just the way everything's put together is just so entirely unique. And again, just like the entire idea behind this album is just so different from everything else I've heard. It's like this entire just art piece rather than like an album per se. And yeah, this is just incredibly cool. So Nature Denatured and Found Again by Michael Pissarro. Okay, so those are my CDs. I will now move on to the records. So I know I normally do these in chronological order, but I can't really be bothered to figure out the order for everything. So I'm just gonna kind of show them off in whatever order I got them. So this is an album by Territory. This, along with a couple 7-inches I'll show near the end of the video, is just a random album I found in my local record store and essentially just blind bought. I looked them up and it said they're metalcore, and I don't know, I think the cover art is pretty cool and just it looked like the type of thing that I would enjoy basically. So I got it. It was pretty cheap also, and also it said it was red vinyl, so that's always a bonus. And yeah, this is actually a really solid metalcore album. If you're a fan of just like the more just like hardcore punk kind of variety of metalcore, just straight up ripping, like no clean vocals or anything, not much melody or anything, just very aggressive hardcore, like heavy stuff, you should definitely listen to this. It's very good. Pretty straightforward for what it is. Here is the insert with the lyrics on the back, and then the vinyl itself is awesome. Hope you can kind of see that. I mean, I'm trying to not take it all the way out, but it has these cool like black swirls and stuff. So yeah, anyway, very cool. It's very short. It's only like 18 minutes, I think. But yeah, this is a great record. If you like metalcore, hardcore punk, that sort of thing, definitely check it out. Alright, get ready for this one. The next album I'm going to show is Magazine by The Rita. This is probably my favorite Harsh Noise Wall album, and the only one that I have on vinyl right now. And this was just reissued on, New Forces. It's a great label, great noise label. But even before that, I listened to it online somewhere. It's pretty hard to find, but I found it somewhere. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just such an amazing Harsh Noise Wall album. And I when I saw it was getting reissued, I had to just get it instantly. And it has slightly different cover art, but the cover art is still the same idea as what it was originally. It was released on a very limited tape kind of thing, which is not available at all anymore. But the cover art is this gun with like the magazine of the gun being a what is it called? Full tone. I don't know. I think there's some name. I'm not an effect pedal nerd, so I don't know what it's called. But there's basically like a distortion pedal instead of like a gun magazine, which is pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's this sort of Harsh Noise Wall that's not like completely pure, like Vomir or whatever. It has some variation. It's just kind of harsh noise that's very monotonous and very just like texturally singular, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's back. I mean, it's a very striking, like black and white, just stark kind of layout, which is, the Rita's aesthetic for the most part. On the inside, you got like a gun, and then you got a live photo of the Rita doing his stuff, Sam McKinley. Yeah, and the Rita in general is just my favorite Harsh Noise Wall artist, and my favorite noise artist in general. Really cool stuff. It's just so like pleasing to listen to. It's just this rumbling textures of noise and distortion and chaos, but it's also very like focused and singular, and I don't know. It's just so satisfying to listen to, in my opinion. And yeah, this is a double LP. I mean, the vinyl is just black. There's nothing much to show, but it's 20 minutes on each side, so 80 minutes of total harsh noise wall crunch, and it is glorious. So I'm so glad to have this. Next, we got the self-titled album from the band Rites of Spring. This is just like a classic kind of 80s hardcore kind of band from the Discord Records roster in DC, which is, so I got this in at Smash Records in DC, where they have a lot of that kind of Discord stuff, because that's just a big part of history, a lot of hardcore. I mean, hardcore punk is essentially invented there, pretty much. I mean, that's where Fugazi came from, Minor Threat and all that. So yeah, I mean, they're really just classic band in that sense. But also, the thing that most people cite Rites of Spring specifically for is them being the first emo band. So, I mean, they don't sound like emo at all by today's standards of the genre, but I can definitely see it, especially with the lyrics. They're much more personal and emotional, and centered around heartbreak and that sort of thing than what you normally get from hardcore in that kind of era. So yeah, and also they're good. They're really good. I can't tell what this photo is on the back. It's probably somewhere in DC, but yeah. So it's just like slightly emotive, melodic. Well, not too melodic. It's not like melodic hardcore, but it's like hardcore, but like with a more emotional edge to it, and I think it's really good. So many great songs in here. The main one that is my favorites is For Want Of, and actually my band that we're kind of trying to get together right now did a cover of that song. We actually played it live a little bit. It wasn't like super great because we only had one day to practice, but anyway, we kind of have a cover of that. We're working on that. So it's fun. It's a really good song, and yeah, this whole record's really good. So here's the lyrics. Yeah, some band photos and all that. Very good. Rites of Spring, if you're into, hardcore, punk, that sort of thing, or if you're into emo and you want to look at kind of where the genre started and where it came from, and the history of it, definitely check these guys out. And next we got Document Number 5 by Page 99. This is a screamo emo violence album, and when I say that, don't think of Bring Me the Horizon or something like that. Don't think of what most people think of as screamo. All right, this is its own thing. This is what the genre originally was intended to mean, and it's very good. This is my favorite album by Page 99. A lot of people like Document 8 and stuff like that, but I think this is just a lot more consistent. This is probably their most like grindcore kind of influenced album. Their most just intense and chaotic and abrasive. Pretty much everything on here, with the exception of the last track, which I'm not a huge fan of, but everything else is just like super fast, intense, just pummeling stuff, and it's like really chaotic, really just overwhelming in the best of ways. Also, I just love like all the packaging on here and all the art. So on the sleeve you got this kind of like guitar playing thing, you got this cool design going on. Then you also have this poster sort of thing, which is really cool. And it has some lyrics like, "My heart is a piano, my fingers are chimes, my left arm is a violin." And then on the back you have some lyrics. It's not all the songs for some reason, but most of the songs have these lyrics and also have like really cool illustrations to go along with them. And I just love the whole aesthetic of this. It's really cool. So I don't really want to hang up the poster because then I can't look at the lyrics and the pictures that go along with it. But anyway, if you want to listen to some really intense, abrasive, heavy music, but that also has an emotional edge, definitely check this album out. It's the best that Page 99 has done, in my opinion. And next, this is Oil of Every Pearls and Insides by Sophie. Not much on the back here, but what can I say about this album? I mean, if you can watch that video that I made, the list of my favorite stuff last year. and this is on top of it because it is just, I don't know, it's just mind blowing, super futuristic, weird, kind of abrasive, but also super well produced and incredibly sound designed, like pop music. But it's just very deconstructed and surreal and insane. Um, yeah, I mean, so it is a gatefold here. You have the beautiful Sophie, just chilling, and then I guess okay. So this compartment probably held the poster. This came with a huge poster, like a 3x3 type of thing. So like, 3 foot by 3 foot type of poster, and on one side it says "Whole New World," which is the last song on here. On the other side, it just has this really awkward photo of Sophie just like topless, and I don't know. I don't want to hang that on my wall, but I hung the Whole New World side. So, but also, well, yeah. I mean, speaking of Sophie topless, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't get me like demonetized from YouTube or something. Demonetized, as if I get money. I don't really care. Okay. Anyway, it's on red vinyl, which is always nice. So, there you go. Yeah, this is an amazing album. If you have not listened to it and you're interested in the future of pop music or just like really crazy electronic music, definitely check this out. It's so good. And next we got the saddest album I've ever listened to, and my favorite by Sufjan Stevens. This is Carrie and Lowell. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not always in the mood to listen to this because it's just so utterly depressing to me. But maybe I'll check. He has so many other amazing albums that like I'll probably gravitate more towards Illinois or something like that if I just want to listen to some Sufjan. But this album for me holds the most emotional weight out of any of his stuff. I mean, for the most part, it's just kind of stripped back, acoustic kind of folk music, singer-songwriter stuff. There's some kind of electronics and ambience kind of worked in as well for just a little bit of variety. But all the songs are just super melancholic. It's basically about the death of his mom and how he kind of dealt with that. So you have some kind of, I guess, personal like family photos in here. It's just such a beautiful, heartbreaking, emotional album. So I guess that's maybe him as a kid and his mom, I'm assuming. And you have the lyrics here, which are just absolutely amazing. Lyrics are so good. It's just black vinyl, so I'm not going to take that out. But yeah, if you're ever just going through, well, I don't know if you should listen to it when you're going through a rough time, but if you want to just listen to sad music and just really vibe out, you can't really do better than this, in my opinion. The songs are all just so amazing. They're really catchy. I mean, I don't know. It's just, yeah, just really amazing, beautifully melancholic album. And next we have Abyss by Chelsea Wolfe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Chelsea Wolfe is a little bit hit or miss for me. Some of her stuff is just a little boring, I guess. I mean, I haven't heard too much of it. I might have only heard I've heard like 3 of her albums, I guess. Yeah, some of it's just kind of like straightforward, and doesn't really stick with me too much. But this album, is definitely my favorite out of them that I've heard. I think it has some very memorable tracks, such as the first one, Carrion Flowers, which strikes me as like a death industrial instrumental practically. So I guess what Chelsea Wolfe normally does, it's sort of like doom metal influenced, like gothic dark wave type of stuff. It's just like her very intense and like atmospheric vocals over these just like doomy atmospheric, I keep saying atmospheric, but instrumentals. And I don't know, it's hard to describe like genre wise. I guess it's like dark wave or whatever, but yeah, it's just very dark, dismal, but kind of beautiful at the same time music. And yeah, there's just so many great tracks on here. It's just very consistent. It's definitely her most consistent effort, or most just like powerful and impacting, I think. So then you have all the lyrics and the gatefold here. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just black vinyl, but it's a double LP. Yeah, it's just great stuff. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I recommend it. Next we have what is probably my favorite synth pop album ever, and maybe just my favorite like pop album in general, although it's more like post-punk than pop. Anyway, this is Cherish the Light Years by Cold Cave. Yeah, I don't know. I got into these guys pretty early on, I guess, in my musical development, and they've really stuck with me. I mean, it's very much like '80s gothic synth pop kind of revival. It's definitely in the vein of bands like Depeche Mode and New Order, and maybe like The Cure to some extent, that sort of thing. But like, I don't know. I feel like they just do it, at least on this album. I think Cold Cave just does that thing even better than those bands, and I love all those bands. But this is just like such. It's like the next level. I don't know. All the songs on here are just absolutely amazing. And I don't think it's the exact same thing. Also, like they get compared to those bands a lot, but I think that the thing that Cold Cave has going for them is their songs are generally a lot more in your face, a lot more intense, a lot more like fast paced. I mean, like some of the drum programming on this is like borderline just blast beats. Like it's super fast paced and just like blown out and loud and just like in your face. And it's so, but it's not really like aggressive in that sense. It's more just very like ecstatic, I guess, and blissful and just triumphant sounding. And so it's just like forcing this beauty and this intense like you know kind of positive power in your face, and it's just so blissful, I think. And yeah, I mean, it's so catchy too. Like the first half I would say is sort of like the catchy stuff, and maybe more straightforward like synth pop kind of stuff, and then the second half gets a bit more experimental, a bit more dark, that sort of thing. But it's just all consistently so amazing, and I just really love it. I guess that's Wes with those tattoos, looking all edgy and stuff. And then yeah, I don't know. On the back, there's some acknowledgments and just lyrics. Yeah, I don't know. This record just means a lot to me. Um, it's influenced my music a lot. I mean, my kind of synth pop stuff that I make is like directly inspired by Cold Cave, as well as like Lust for Youth and that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm not a huge fan of the cover art, to be honest, but whatever. This album is really amazing. I think if you're a fan of synth pop and post punk and just all that kind of like '80s stuff, you should definitely check this out because it's so consistently awesome. And finally, the last LP I'm gonna show before I show a few 7 inches I got is The Great Annihilator by Swans. This is actually my third Swans album, which is kind of weird because I feel like I'm not the hugest fan of this band, but this is definitely my favorite album from them. And this is an excellent album. I just listened to this copy today, and yeah, I still love it. It's really good. This is sort of like, I don't know, if I mean, you probably know who Swans are if you're watching this, but if not, like, I guess they're just, I don't know, they have a lot of different phases to their stuff. Like, I wouldn't call this post rock. Their later stuff is more post rock. To me, this is just like Swans distilled to just the purest core of like what makes their music so great without any filler at all. I feel like the problem with some of their like last few albums, I mean those albums are great, but like the problem, if I had to nitpick, the problems I have with them is just like there's a lot of slow sections that don't really do much and just kind of drag on for a really long time, and it can get kind of boring. So as far as their like really long epic stuff, I feel like this is like taking the best, most intense, most just like hard hitting parts of that and just like stripping away all the not that kind of stuff, all the just like the filler kind of stuff, and it's just condensing it down to just these amazing, memorable, really intense tracks. And the cool thing about this is it's actually like you can like feel this, like it's kind of printed on, and then also you probably can't even see it, but it says Young God Records here, and it's like you can like feel it. It's imprinted on the, what I mean. Anyway, yeah, the center just has these weird symbols. I don't know what they mean, but there's also a poster that has those very same symbols. So this is the second Swans poster I have then, because I have one for the Seer also, which is that big creepy dog thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll hang both of these up when I go back to college. I'll look like the biggest Swans fan in the world. And I mean, I do like them. They're a great band. And again, like this album is fantastic. But I feel like there are some people that just like worship these guys, and I don't quite do that. I don't actually listen to them that often, but anyway, they are very good. And yeah, to me, this is just like their best material. So yeah, Great Annihilator. Check it out. All right, now moving on to the 7 inches that I got. These two were in the same purchase as that Territory album, or the same like trip. So I was just kind of going around to local record stores and just picking up whatever I thought looked cool, looked like something I'd be interested in. So I just found a couple like hardcore type of things. So this is a 7-inch by the Varukers called "Led to the Slaughter," and this is one of the first like I guess D beat kind of bands, which is type of crust punk. I guess I'm not actually the biggest fan of D beat because I don't love this thing. I don't like Discharge that much either, which is kind of like the main band in that genre. I do like a lot of crust punk, but I guess D beat just sounds really like repetitive to me, and it just gets kind of boring. But it's fine. I mean, and if you're a fan of the genre, you'll definitely like this. So I don't know. It's just very like straightforward, and lyrics are also like just so. I mean, they're just like stereotypical hardcore lyrics. They're political, but they're not like. Oh, I forgot this kind of folded out like this. Yeah, it's very DIY. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it's just a black record, so yeah. I don't know. Brooker's just kind of a classic, yeah, crust punk, D beat kind of hardcore band. It's fine. It's just nothing special in my opinion. But then this other thing that I got, I just looked them up, looked a couple of these bands up, and saw their grindcore, and I was like, okay, that's a safe bet, you know. I like grindcore. So this is a split actually between Bodies Lay Broken and Head Hits Concrete. Those names both sound kind of similar, don't they? This also just kind of folds out like this. And also, it's cool because... Alright, so there's this thing, which is just like... I don't know, talking about the stuff they have on the label, I guess. But yeah, really cool record also. It has some kind of like black, misty sort of stuff going on subtly, but yeah, just a cool green color. So that's awesome. I don't know. So Bodies Lay Broken is like gore grind, I guess. Just very like I can't even do it. Just very like guttural, like toilet bowl kind of vocals, and just really, you know, chuggy. It's gore grind. It's good though. It's for gore grind. It's actually like really good. And the other side is just I guess more straightforward grindcore. A bit more on like the technical, dissonant kind of mathy side of things, which I very much like. The recording quality isn't great, or the pressing quality, or whatever it is, but yeah, I'd say both of these bands are really solid grindcore, and I would check it out if you're a fan of the genre. So anyway, Bodies Lay Broken. Thanks to everyone who cared. Well, and then yeah, on the other side, Head Hits Concrete, and you have the lyrics here. The lyrics are, yeah, pretty extreme, pretty ridiculous, but that's grindcore for you. So anyway, that's actually a really good record. I'm happy I got this. And then finally, the last couple records I'm going to show here are actually, I went to Spain recently for about 10 days, and I went to a record store there, and I was like, hey, I should get some Spanish music to bring back, just kind of as like a souvenir. And so I found a couple records that to me looked kind of punkish or indie or whatever. So one of them turned out to be hardcore punk, and one of them turned out to be like indie rock, basically. But they're both Spanish, although I don't know. Well, they're both from Spain. This one's like in English though, the lyrics. But anyway, so the hardcore one is by Fame Negra or something. When dos Finlandia? I don't know how to speak Spanish. I probably should have figured it out before I went there, but it wasn't a problem. Anyway, big old nuclear bomb. Just very, very DIY, very punk looking. Oh, I haven't actually like opened this. I just listened to it online because my record player here doesn't really work. Okay, so there's like a whole booklet. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, it's all in Spanish. I don't know if you can see that with the light kind of blowing everything out, but there's some funny illustrations here, and I guess lyrics as well that I cannot read because, you know, Spanish. There's probably some like thanks or whatever. Maybe some stuff about the label. Yeah, it's a cool little booklet here actually. Very nice. You usually don't get booklets with 7 inches, so that's a fun surprise. There's the record. There's no actual like other sleeve. It's just the main kind of cardboard sleeve. But yeah, anyway, so this is like not great to be honest. I don't really like the vocals, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward hardcore. It's not very good production. and again, like the vocals kind of suck. But aside from that, it's solid quality hardcore punk. So I can't really complain. And yeah, again, I just wanted like a cool souvenir from Spain, which this definitely acts as. And the other one is Guidiondelia. This is a funny just dog cover. It's called Doggy Language. It has a heart. It's very cute. It's a very cute album. The lyrics are pretty cute as well. So yeah, you have a cool like gatefold here, which again, you don't usually get gatefolds in 7 inches. So yeah, the lyrics are in English. Yeah, it's borderline just like children's music. It's really cute. And just yeah, it's pretty like easy listening. Just kind of like mostly acoustic indie rock. There's some more distorted rockin' moments here and there, but anyway, yeah. Very nice, very fun little record. So yeah, those are the ones I got from Spain, and that is everything. So thank you for watching. Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't make one of these for a bit of a while because I don't know. Well, all right, we'll be. Ooh, announcement. All right, so I'm gonna be. Maybe I shouldn't say this yet because it's not like 100% confirmed, but I'm probably gonna be playing a live set just as a solo thing as Ether, doing power electronic stuff at Skeleton Dust Records, which I've mentioned on this channel before, in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. So if you're nearby there and you want to come down, that's going to be August 17th, I believe. So when I'm there, I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff from Skeleton Dust, as I do, and I'll have a bunch of tapes probably to show off after that. So yeah, maybe like at the end of summer, you can expect another one of these videos. But until then, I'll probably just be chilling. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.